You terrify a narcissist without even knowing it. Having survived their abuse, the changes you have made in your life are so powerful that they shake them to their core. These are not small changes, these are deep, fundamental shifts in how you respond, how you see them, and how you live your life. And the scary part for them is that they do not even fully realize it. Yet, they lie awake at night praying that you never wake up to the strength you have already stepped into, but may not know about. They hope you doubt yourself, question your clarity, and keep second-guessing everything, because the day you truly understand how much you now hold is the day they lose their grip over you completely. You have to understand, narcissists thrive on control. Their entire sense of power depends on your confusion, reactions, and your willingness to keep the same game going. When those things are gone, their entire structure collapses. And what is really fascinating is that the moments that terrify them the most are often the quietest ones. It is not when you scream, argue, or try to prove your point. It is when you simply stop playing the game. I'm Samir, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is 5 times a narcissist is more afraid of you than you may realize.
Moment 1. Indifference and detachment. Number 1. The first moment that terrifies a narcissist to their core is when you become cold and indifferent to them completely. For so long, they have relied on your emotions, haven't they? They have fed off your reactions, whether it was anger, hurt, confusion, or desperation. It gave them a sense of importance. They would give you cold, detached, and unemotional responses, then watch you flinch, over-explain, or chase them. That gave them invisible power. But something changes in you after a while. It is a natural shift that happens once you've had enough. You start mirroring their own detachment, not out of spite like them, but because your emotional energy is no longer available to be wasted. When they go crazy on you, yell, shout, and scream, you do not panic. When they show up with that blank face, you meet it with your own calm presence. This is terrifying to them because it's like looking in the mirror and realizing their tricks no longer work. Your indifference is extremely powerful. They feel it in their gut, that something has changed, and it shakes their sense of control. They no longer see the same emotional supply that once kept them inflated. Moment 2. Rejecting victim and control games. Number 2. When you stop playing their victim and control games. The second moment is when they usually try victim tactics or subtle emotional manipulation, and you no longer respond the way you used to. You know their pattern very well. They play helpless. They hint that something is wrong. They say they had a breakdown. They throw emotional bait into the air, expecting you to catch it. Like always in the past, you would rush in, asking what's wrong, trying to fix it, feeling guilty, or becoming anxious. The pages are real, we are good to see. But this time, you do not. When they threaten something dramatic on the phone, what do? You calmly suggest calling emergency services and move on with your day. When they act like a wounded little child, you do not take the hook. When they create an emotional storm, you stand still and refuse to be swept into it. This breaks their pattern completely. Narcissists depend on your emotional response to feel powerful. When you stop playing that role, their game falls apart. They suddenly realize that their emotional emergencies have no effect on you anymore. You no longer feel the need to rescue them, and that is deeply frightening to them because it shows that their emotional hold over you is completely gone. Moment 3. No more justifying their behavior. Number 3. When you stop justifying or minimizing what they do. The third moment that shakes a narcissist is when you stop justifying or minimizing what they do. Their entire manipulation cycle depends on confusion. They create chaos through hot and cold behavior. One moment, they give you affection, as you know. The next moment, they pull away. They lie, then act like nothing happened. They hurt you, then do something nice. Over time, this confuses you so deeply that you end up justifying what they do. You tell yourself they didn't mean it. You try to find excuses for their cruelty, You minimize their behavior to make the relationship emotionally survivable. That is cognitive dissonance and trauma bonding. And narcissists happily count on it. When you break free from that confusion, everything changes. When you look at their behavior without sugarcoating it, without making it smaller, and call it what it is, the spell breaks completely. You stop defending them in your head. You stop explaining away the wrong things they do. You stop being emotionally twisted by the constant back and forth. And this terrifies them, because their power lived in your confusion. The moment you see clearly, they can no longer hide behind mixed signals, emotional tricks, or fake apologies. Your clarity is like a light that exposes the entire illusion they created. They realize you're not under the spell anymore, and that is one of the scariest moments for them. Moment 4, focusing on your life. Number 4, when you start focusing on your life. The fourth moment is when you take your attention and energy back and start focusing on your life. Narcissists love to make themselves the center of your world, don't they? Bit by bit, they occupy your thoughts, emotions, your plans, and even your purpose. They make their needs your priority. They pull you into constant emotional drama, leaving you with little energy for anything else. But there comes a point when you start remembering who you are. You start putting your energy back into the things you love. You reconnect with friends. You rebuild your routines. You invest in your goals. You start enjoying little moments of your day again that have nothing to do with them. This is extremely terrifying because it means they are losing the position of being the main character in your life. For so long, they fed on the fact that you revolved around them. Your happiness, peace, and plans, everything went through their filter. When you break that pattern and make your life your priority, they suddenly feel irrelevant. They realize you're no longer orbiting around their drama, and that loss of centrality is one of the biggest blows to their ego. They may try to pull you back in by stirring drama, guilt-tripping you, or suddenly pretending to care. But when you keep choosing yourself over their control, it sends a loud message. They are not the center anymore, and they cannot handle that. Moment 5. Reconnecting with your higher self. The last moment that terrifies them the most is when you reconnect with your higher self. Narcissists do everything they can to keep you spiritually disconnected. They want you distracted, emotionally exhausted, and stuck in survival mode. When you are spiritually disconnected, you're easier to control, aren't you? You do not trust your intuition. You doubt your worth. You do not feel a deeper sense of direction. But when you slowly return to your true self, everything starts to change. You may begin to meditate, pray, reflect, or simply listen to that quiet voice inside you that always knew the truth. You start living with integrity again, and you feel grounded. You become internally stable. This kind of strength cannot be faked. It's not loud, it's steady, quiet, and unshakable. And narcissists cannot fight it. Why? Because it does not react to their chaos. When you reconnect with that part of yourself, they sense it, even before you fully do. They can see the shift in your energy. They can see that their control is slipping away. And this terrifies them because, on a deep level, they know they cannot win against someone who is spiritually awake and emotionally centered. It is the one kind of power they cannot manipulate. They can control your emotions, twist your logic, and exploit confusion, but they cannot touch inner strength. That's why this is, by far, their biggest fear. Conclusion: embrace your inner strength. So these 5 moments are quiet but powerful. You do not need to argue with them to scare them off. You do not need to expose them publicly. You do not need dramatic confrontation. What truly terrifies them is your clarity, your emotional detachment, self-focus, and your inner strength. They rely on you staying trapped in the confusion cycle, but when that breaks, their entire game starts to fall flat. And the most beautiful part is that many of these shifts happen naturally as you heal. You don't have to fake them or perform them. Healing automatically brings clarity, focus, and inner connection. The narcissist fear is simply a reflection of the power you have reclaimed. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one. And until then, as always, let the healing begin.